Do you guys remember this video? I used to do this series where I would take you guys to houses that I was considering buying specifically for, I like to do weird houses, A-frames, mobile homes, like weird little properties that I felt like I could add something unique to, and really walk you through how I decided whether I was going to buy it or not. And this one was back in 2021. I loved this property so much, and I was just like, please let me give you money for it. Like, I called my agent and I asked her to put in an offer. I was willing to pay full price, and it was like they had this little property and they're like, nope, not for I don't want the money that you want to give me for this. That's not how I want to do things. So this was a mobile home from the late 70s that's been wood wrapped with really cool intention. It's on like a permanent base, full wood wrap on it, porches, everything like that. And it looks like a really cool cabin on a decent little plot of land in a perfect downtown Bryan location, like a block away from like the biggest, prettiest park. And it was listed in 2021 for $100,000. And I tried to buy it. Like, my agent wrote an offer, full price, and the seller said no. He only wanted to owner finance it, and the terms were something insane, like 8%, 5-year pre-payoff penalty. He didn't want to sell the house. He wanted to be a bank. And unfortunately, there was just no way I could make the math work. I would have ended up paying like $350,000 for a $100,000 piece of property and mobile home. And I couldn't do it. As much as I liked it, I couldn't do it. At the time, I wanted it to be an Airbnb, and I still think it would be a really cool Airbnb, but maybe better as a long-term rental. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you about this is because the property's for sale again, and I'm about to go look at it. My friend Morgan, who is a local real estate agent, very good friend of mine, mentioned that she saw it on like a friend's Facebook group or something. It was like a real estate investors private Facebook group that someone was like, is anyone buying College Station? I've got this weird property. And she recognized it based on the description that it was like a wood wrapped mobile home in Bryan, Texas. And she was like, that sounds familiar. Didn't Sarah try to buy one of those a few years back? Because I talk about everything on the internet. And she had seen that video or had saw part of it or something. And she reached out and she was just like, hey, would you still be interested in that property? And that was like a day ago. And I am still interested in that property. Some of you guys hated that property because it's a mobile home, which does have its own reasonings, deficiencies, because of the seller financing. A lot of the comments on that video were, don't do it, total money pit, etc. But I still have a vision for it. I originally wanted like that to be on one side and there was room for like another, like an ag wagon, like a camper or trailer. Like, I thought that I could make it into a little something. This time, I think I'd probably just use it as a long-term rental for at least a while. I think the current market for short term is not something I necessarily want to do. I'm still a little burnt out from doing the ag wagon. I loved it, but it was a lot of like continuing week over week work, worrying about like the money and everything like that versus the lot fees. And it just I didn't end up making money on it. But here's the other thing. Originally, this house was for sale for $100,000. It's now apparently for sale for $80,000. And that meets the real estate 1% rule. It's a 2-bed, 1-bath with a nice big yard, gate, everything like that, storage unit, decent sized place. I think it's like 750 square feet. And I could easily rent that for $800 a month or probably more where it is, as it is. So you have to kind of decide, like, would I like to do all this work and furnish it and everything like that, a short-term rental, or maybe just use it as a long-term and immediately have a little bit of cash flow to it, meet the 1% rule. So I'm going to look at it. I also don't know if I have enough money to purchase it because obviously this is an off-market deal currently. It's not on the MLS. It's just like a friend through my, this agent knows and found it, and she found an appointment. So I don't know if they're only looking for all cash offers. I've got about 40 grand that I could use for it, but it's 80. So I don't know if I'd need to do a personal loan for the rest of that money, or if I'd want to like partner with someone to do a hard money loan, or if I could go ahead and do some sort of financing on it. I did look up the laws, and you can't mortgage a mobile home from 1976 or older, but this is 78, which is close, but within the realm of potential reason. So Jacob and I and Morgan are gonna go look at it. I don't know what the condition has changed on it since I tried to buy it 4 years ago. We did drive by and saw that there's like a big gazebo in the yard now and some other stuff. So I don't know how well it was taken care of, or if any like improvements have been made, if any negative things have happened there. I don't know, but we're gonna go find out. So I guess let's go check it out. I'll link the original video below in case you wanna go watch it, but let's go check this place out and see if it might be worth the money and if I might be able or willing to buy it now, 4 years later. Let's go see it. We are.
So,
My sister said they're renting.
water and electricity is
And that's all.
so I have my flashlight, but you know, I can help with lighting.
Ooh,
Yeah, so they are looking into what's going on there.
nothing good.
Why is it so wet in here?
I think that he may have just walked because I think he was trying to help with the smell.
All the floors separating.
Yeah, I think because he had kind of sprinkled some things along the wall.
Oh no, this place is trashed.
We have a cousin that lives in this area that has a key.
What even is that?
Yeah, that's not why I'm not sure about. I don't know if it's like that stuff you sprinkle on the carpet for smell good purposes.
Oh, it's sticky. My feet just stuck to the carpet.
Bottom step right here starting to go.
Oof. And I guarantee you there's rot under all of that. Oh, and that back fence looks bad too.
Yeah, in fact, there's already a hole under it.
So you said it's been vacant for a few months? I'm going that way.
At least 2, and they think that the boyfriend probably, by the time they found out it had been vacant, that he had maybe been gone for a month already.
Oof. Ah, that's so sad. This was such a cute place.
I'm gonna step down there and
Yeah.
walk around the side. Look at the exterior a little bit more.
Oh yeah, that step's about to go. You said they want 80 for it?
That's what they're hoping for. All I'm gonna say is, you know, look at your numbers and see where you would be comfortable.
So, also weirdly, I looked at the Brazos CAD on it, and they had reported,
For 100 grand.
yeah, like 150 grand in improvements over the past few years that supposedly increased the value up to 90K. So in 2021, it was worth 50.
They probably reported in 2021 when it was sold, quote unquote, they probably reported what they paid for it. And that's probably how it jumps.
Yeah.
You'd think there'd be underground access somewhere for it.
Yeah, that's right here. This is where we'll probably. Oh, yeah. I see.
Oh, okay. The insulation shouldn't be down there as
Yeah.
far as I know.
Yep.
Okay.
No, that's something that I noticed inside too, which was like, that's why I was asking about it when you were here earlier.
Yeah, that's a little worrying. It's built around it,
But yeah, it's built around it.
but not there. I mean, that's not watertight or anything. So I don't know what the actual mobile home under it is looking like. Rat droppings here and in the cabinets. It's really sad. Okay, what's your assessment, Morgan, in soft, quiet words? Though I don't think the guy here is going to take any offense. He's aware of what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, it needs a lot of work. It would be great to see what it looks like underneath all of that trash. I think the risk here is, if you did want to move forward, figuring out what price makes sense for the amount of risk you're taking on all the things that would happen, right? What's underneath all the trash, all the animal droppings and whatnot.
Can you briefly tell me how this went back on market, or kind of what the deal is?
Yeah, so you looked at it in 2021. And this guy's mom purchased it, and I guess owner financed it to someone that she knew, and that person ended up taking off and she passed away, and now it's been inherited by her children. They're just looking to get rid of it. So I connected with their agent through an investor group that I'm in on Facebook, through a couple of different connections that I have in Houston. So they said, hey, is anyone looking to invest in Bryan? And people tagged me, and then they told me the address, and I had to tell Sarah about it. So that is how we ended up here today.
So your personal opinion as a fellow BCS real estate investor, would you touch this with a 10-foot pole?
For the right price.
What's the right price for you?
I mean, probably closer to maybe 50.
I was thinking 50.
Maybe 50,000. It just is going to take a lot of work, and you don't know the scope of work yet, and you won't know the scope of work. So I think at that price, it would be like worst case scenario.
I think it would be really tough to hire out somebody to go under and fix all the underpinnings of that trailer.
Yeah. And then it's like, depending on how much you spend, can you make the investment make sense with ROI as a short-term rental or a long-term rental for...
Because it's already almost 50 years old, so how much longer is it going to last?
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, okay, if you finance 50, what do you rent it out for? Finance 65 and use the extra money to do the work on it. I don't know. It's in rough shape though. It is in rough shape.
Those trees are beautiful though.
I know.
I love the trees. And it's cute. It was cute. They've ruined it. They absolutely ruined it. Jacob, what do you think?
Well, there's no turning this crack house into a crack home.
That thing has been
Destroyed.
It's been destroyed. There was the hole through the wall right under the front window in the living room. There was who knows what all over the floor. I'm gonna let Jacob describe the smell.
Well, I'm surprised we didn't run up on any corpses in there, because I kept expecting to see one in all the piles of trash, but we were downwind and you could smell the place when we drove up. And it's infested with rats too.
Definitely infested with rats. We looked underneath. I looked at the inspection report after I got off camera. Now this is the inspection report from back in 2021. And I saw pictures. There was already like insulation falling down underneath. So it had been like a cosmetic flip. Who knows what that mobile home looks like under there. Honestly, I would be really surprised if they do get another inspection done, if it's not condemned.
Frankly, I lost a little respect for everybody involved for wasting our time on this.
I needed the closure, honey. Last time it wasn't my choice not to buy it. This time it was. I can't invest my money in that, even at like $50K. Like Morgan said, I think it's going to be
If somebody was living in that, an old person, that would be a case with Adult Protective Services.
Yeah, I agree.
When they're talking about flipping it, making it like a short-term rental or something like that, just imagine the liability.
Morgan was saying that they're probably They were taking photos and stuff like that. They're not going to put it on the MLS. They're probably taking photos to try to sell it to like an investor out of Houston who will likely just never even come and see it, you know, hire somebody to clean it out and then kind of duct tape it together and try to do it as a rental, which very unfortunately a lot of people do that, and just kind of try to make money out of it until it literally falls down.
It already is though. And what happens when somebody busts their ass on that little stairwell where one of the stairs is already coming apart?
It's really sad. The place was cute before, and I think if somebody like me had come in and like fixed it up to a good level, it probably would have lasted for another maybe 10, 15 years, but they destroyed it.
Neglect compounds.
Yeah. Oof. Oh, sad, but I guess I'm glad I got to see it again.
Still got the smell in my nose.
I'm sorry, honey. I have like no real sense of smell. I have a terrible nose, but I can taste it in my mouth still a little bit from that house. Jacob must have been in absolute agony because he has what we call a super sniffer. Like he's got a really good sense of smell, and it was bad over there. Just, it's unfortunate, but I guess I'm glad I didn't buy it if that was the potential condition after many years. I would like to think that I screened my tenants better, but that was really bad. Okay, I didn't want to buy a house this year anyway. We're good. Mere hours ago, I sat here so excited. And now back home, on retrospect, I think that place is a teardown now, which sucks. But also, like the seller financing thing did not necessarily work out. Now, I don't know if it went back on the person that originally seller financed or if the lady that bought it a few months after I looked at it. I think that was her heirs that are selling it now, but she definitely tried to seller finance it to somebody else that she knew, and then they just took off after living in it for a year and destroying it. So whatever the terms were, and just 4 years ago, I agreed that house was worth like $100,000. Now I think it's a teardown and it's lot value. I'm glad I didn't take the deal. Sad about the place. It could have been really cute. But on to the next one. I wasn't planning on buying a house this year anyway, and I got some kind of catharsis, closure from that deal. I no longer like have a little place for it in my heart where I'm like, I wish I owned that, because in its current iteration, I do not wish I owned that. Yeah. So you can check out my other real estate adventure playlists somewhere down below / on screen. And I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Oh, and I'll also leave Morgan's contact down below if you're in the BCS area looking for a realtor. She's phenomenal. So sweet. So great. All right. Bye.